Welcome back.
Oh, hello. Yes.
Hello, hello. Beck. What a nice headset that you have there. Where'd you get that headset? Why'd you get that headset?
Well, you had me pick it up a couple years ago. We were going to do some more podcasting.
I'm so glad that we're resuming because there are 3 headsets floating around in the world with people that will not be coming on this show again. And those ones I actually bought. I remember, yeah, we were working together and you were like, "I can make some investments myself," and you took the initiative to order it and pay for it yourself. These other people have, taken their headsets and run. The last person I gave a headset to podcast with me upon, her own volition was, Alexa Nicholas, who has started this smear campaign that I told you about.
Hmm.
Yeah, I I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly what's going on with this show, but I do know that I'm learning an awful lot of lessons. I am not fully in control of everything, even though I am like the producer or something. I'm like, there's some kind of God element producing this. There's something beyond me that keeps like cycling lessons that, you know, I don't know. I I could I could choose to not be mystic about it, but it's like at a point where I'm just seeing so many serendipitous things or things that were like set up in the past that I'm like, this is like like it just feels so inevitable, all of it or something. I don't know.
Hmm.
Yeah. I'd forgotten about your headset. I'd forgotten about that part. I remembered, so many other things surrounding that period of time, but the headset is actually, like, pretty meaningful.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, mainly because so the 2 headsets that I am bothered most by, Blake, Sister Mary Hot Takes, who came on the show also in seasons 1 and 2, he brought all of this Nickelodeon content to me and was like, "You should talk about this on your show," and I was like, "I could also just know about it and not talk about it ever." Um, but I made the decision to use my platform to bring something that I thought was important out, and that has since bit me so many times in the ass. I don't even know what direction I was heading in before. So that's pretty much that. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I know. So I guess another component to it to sort of lead into things is that you told me so. Like we have not talked for a couple of years. I don't remember exactly when we stopped talking, but I think it was sometime in
Probably
2021.
mid to last part of the year.
Yeah, in
Yeah.
2021, and I had been living in Fairfax and working a very intense job that I'll be having some people come on and talk about in another episode soon, but um you were very clear about having trepidation around my ambition and my goals. Um, and all of those things that I had started kind of putting together over the previous 2 years where I was like, I wonder if I actually could what if I do full potential with myself? Like, what if I go in that direction? Then it started to kind of look like actual things. And then I was kind of prompted to start this podcast, and I was like, "Well, that's an alright place to start with media production." Um, could have never imagined it would be the most dangerous job that I would ever have, but, or will have to date. I don't know. I don't wanna
Yeah, I was going to say so far.
yeah, who knows what will come, yeah. Uh, but yeah, no, I think our last episode or, like, maybe the one before that, you had made a comment about, that you're a nervous Nelly, but you're a nervous Nelly that runs into tear gas, and I was like, "Ooh, relatable, but different." And, um, yeah, like, the episodes that we did together before have become very relevant, like multiple times, but right now they're really interesting. And like even just the titles of that, like is white fragility a personality disorder is such a weird. I look back at that time and I'm like, why did I make this like this? Why did I put this together like this? It doesn't necessarily have the impact that I want it to have in most people, but it does dog whistle to a lot of people as like interesting. So as it continues to come up over and over again, uh, and the answer is really no. White fragility is not a personality disorder in my take. It's just that a lot of people with personality disorders or who are expressing, because it's that trauma will have like phases where the expression appears to be disorderly as things are moving into a position of order. Um, 1 second, I need to go let this dog in that is scratching at the door. All right. Okay. This whole thing has so many moving parts. One of the moving parts is that I am a busy bitch and I am constantly either driving somewhere right now or watching animals right now that I am getting used to their personalities. Uh, I think the ones in the house I'm in now have gotten into the rhythm of when I'm recording and they know to start bothering me just before and right after I start recording now.
Charming.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, so let's get to the point. I brought you on here. I called you up and I basically was like, so here's a bunch of info dumping about nonsense that nobody can understand. I'm in the middle of it and I don't understand it. It's messy. There's so many people involved. You told me so, you were right. I regret nothing, but also like look at God or whatever, look at life and what has happened. Um and ultimately uh it's weird because I had these people that are fucking with me right now. I had talked to them a lot about my previous communities and people in my life and how things had gone. Um, and I think that there's been a misinterpretation with some stuff because right now people are assuming that folks are not in my life on a permanent basis, just as a result of me being the things that they perceive that I am. I don't even really want to give much merit to any of it because they didn't know me. Like they didn't know me at all. They were getting to know me and managed to get a hold of me and in some ways cause the hardest time, one of the hardest times of my life, and basically like develop like a whole idea about my personality and who I am in general based off that. So while I was in the throes of it, and up until a couple of days ago when I started reaching out to people, um, I guess I sort of was believing it a little bit or whatever. But the minute that I got back into my life with people, the minute I reconnect, we haven't talked much. We talked a little bit. I got to hear the kids in the background. Um, yeah, there's just been like I just forgot myself or whatever. Like it's and these people never got a chance to really know me. They just got this funky interpretation. So um yeah, I don't know really where to go from here. I'm really like blessed and honored to like have developed relationships with people where we can split as hard as we did, but then when it comes down to it, I'm like, I'm pretty sure people are going to go to bat for me about this. And it's a big deal for you to come back into my life at all, let alone be on the internet and like have any type of presence. You're not a content creator, you mind your own business. You
I'm a research professional.
Yeah, yeah, talk about yourself a little bit. Who are you? Why are you, you know?
um, I'm Bec. Bec Green. I'm a research professional. I work at a university. Um, I have a PhD. I have two small kids, and um, single parent by choice of two small kids that shift helped come into the world greatly, and have known you since 2000 and 10, 11 ish, something like that.
12. It was the year
12.
after
Yeah.
Occupy. I think
Was
I was trying
yeah.
to remember when and where we actually met, and I think it was at OP Mobile Cafe. If I
No, you came to the house to interview to live in the house.
Oh, that's right, and you brought me to OP Mobile Cafe first.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, after
Okay.
you
I
moved
had
into the
totally forgot.
house. Yeah.
That's right, that's right, that's correct. I remember now.
We sat in the living room and you and two of your friends interviewed with us together to move into the house that I was part of.
You were
Yeah.
eating bacon-wrapped dates, and I was
That
so
sounds
fucking
right.
hungry. And we were all hungry, and we were sitting there like, "Oh my god, this house smells delicious. These people are so
Uh,
cool." I remember, yeah, mhm. Yeah, we had taken Bart, and we were, like, running to make it there on time, and you guys were so casual and chill. We coulda just been like, "Oh, we're running a little late," but we felt
oh
like we
gosh,
had
it
Yeah.
was an interview.
Yeah, no, totally. It was a really weird
Yeah.
it's funny. Yeah, bizarre little memories, random little things. Yeah, okay. So yeah, we lived together first. That was our first
hmm
relationship.
And then we got into activism together, doing community feeds, and that was the main kind of, I guess, activity that was formal or structured that we did together at the time.
We were the
Um,
form and structure of that, though I want to be clear, it wasn't community feeds through some
oh yeah,
organization.
oh yeah, yeah.
We
No,
went
me and
to
you and another friend.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, and sometimes a handful of other people would come join us, but yeah, we'd just come up with well, usually Bella came up with the menu. I think
yeah.
like
And we
or
went to
we
her kitchen and we cooked
yeah,
and oh, and then you got involved with watching her baby.
right.
So that was the next big kind of change or in our relationship. So,
Mhm.
and she was a friend of
And
mine, and I kind of connected the two of you, and then you became a live-in helper with her baby.
yep.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then there's some time passed, and then you stayed with me again in another house
Oh,
for
yeah, in, Kensington?
nope. This
No.
was in San Leandro.
Yep, I remember that, and
Yep,
then
with your partner, and
that was when we were asked to move up to Richmond and
mhm.
be Dave's live-in nanny for the
Yep.
situation I had to file a wage claim on.
Yeah.
He's someone I'm gonna reach out to him. I will not be surprised if he is too busy being fabulous to connect with me, but I also think he might be the type of person that will go ahead and come on my show and be like, "What is going on? Who do these people
Mhm.
think you are?"
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, we went through a rough time there, with that place, and yeah, what was after that? Well,
Oh,
that was I was living there when you decided to have your kids.
we stayed in touch and just I don't know. We talked for a while, and then yeah, and then I had a baby, and you came and helped me. We were talking quite a bit, like
Yeah.
on the phone, just as friends. Um, but with you having like tremendous amounts of uh, experience dealing with birth and babies and kids um, and yada yada, then you generously agreed to come out and help me birth my baby and just out of the goodness of your heart and a feeling of concern for
Mm.
me and the kid. Even though I had not had the forethought or whatever to be able to even pay you. So, um, yeah, help that baby come out. Watch me in labor for 3 days or something, and then what? And where was my doula in the um, in the room, and then help me as they rushed me to an emergency C-section, and you were the first one to hold my baby, and um, and then help me for a few days afterward at home as I figured out what the heck to do with a newborn because I didn't have family around or anybody to shepherd me or mentor me or teach me how to change a diaper or what to do with a newborn. So it was beautiful.
Yeah.
Um,
Huh.
and then I don't know what how much we were connected in between. I think you came out a few times after that,
Mhm.
and watched as my baby grew, and and helped out, and um, but then it was like 20 months later, I had another one, and and you came again and helped me again, even though I still didn't really have a. I gave you a little bit of money, but it wasn't much. It wasn't anything appropriate to what you were doing. Um, and you were like, "Oh, like fuck you, bitch!" Like, okay, all right, I'm doing it. All right. We tried to figure out ways to help it be a mutually beneficial or reciprocal exchange, but I didn't really do a good job on that, and uh, and fell through on my end of it. But nevertheless, you hold the grace for me, and um, I've tried various ways to make good on that. But yeah, it is what it is. And will continue trying to show up for you in your life the way it, and to somehow account for all the ways you've showed up for me in my life. I didn't even mention that you back in Oakland, when you were one of the very few people that super hardcore had my back when a lot of stuff was going down and going bad, um and I didn't have a place to live, and or not like or I had to quickly find a new place to live and get all my stuff off the street, and was being character assassinated, and etc. And like, man, you super had my back, and it was I can't believe somebody like did that for me. Um, and then and there was another housing situation where you were in a bad housing situation and had to get out, or whatever, real quick, and I of course showed up then, and um, helped you get out of that place, and you were being kind of dragged through the mud, and I had to show up and be like, no, you've got a team, you have backup, and um, you know you know shut up, you all, you don't know what you're talking about. And um yeah, man, we've had a lot of mutual back and forth, like hard times, and having each other's back. And um no, I always hope that I can have your back, however I can, because you've definitely had mine.
Yeah. Yeah, I forgot, also that after the San Leandro house, when I moved up to Richmond, I started training with Sam Sarah Morgan, to kinda try to
Mm.
get more professional. I didn't need professional training in
To get
anything
credentials
around
or
birth,
whatever,
but yeah, I
yeah.
thought I should have picked a different place, but, she seemed like somebody I wanted to support with my time and input, as much as I wanted to kinda get experience there, but, during that period of time, I think probably because I was working with her, and then you were, sort of getting involved in some, like preconception programs and stuff like that. You connected with me with Maya and uh,
Yeah,
Sprout. Um,
yeah,
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 um,
man, the details, it gets
little
fuzzy,
things.
but yeah.
Yeah, so just the little things like Maya. Oh my god. Yeah. Um, yeah. Thank you for saying all of that. That's
Of course.
yep. Um,
Yeah. I'm
yeah.
I'm down to give a more like a comprehensive um thought through description of all the ways that you've helped me out, or the highlights of the ways you've helped me out intensely and shown up in my life. If and whenever you're ready, because I have stuff written.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Um Well, this was written a couple years ago, a year or two ago, when you were getting dragged into some legal bullshit about a client that you had and needed me to speak to the court about on your behalf. And I, of course, gladly did so, even though we weren't really talking at the time,
Mhm.
and had kind of parted ways. But I would um, absolutely speak up on your behalf, if ever given the opportunity. So this says, to whom it may concern, I'm writing on behalf of Shift, who I've known for 8 years now in a very close friendship and at times roommate capacity. He's the most compassionate, giving, service minded person I have ever known. And I am appalled to hear that he's being maligned and accused in relation to his work and his former client. From last fall to this spring, I spoke with him almost daily by phone, and he always spoke with great concern and care about his client and the care situation that he was responsible for. He told me many times that he would do anything in his power to make sure that the client was well cared for, even if it meant doing so with no remuneration and at great risk to his own welfare, to Shift's own welfare, given the pandemic and Shift's lack of family or other support. And he invested his whole being and resources into the client's care. For example, even seeking funds from his own friends and network, including myself, to help get an expensive blanket warmer as soon as possible for the client when the clients had broken, so the client wouldn't have to be cold for any longer than absolutely necessary. Shift cared for the client deeply, and keeping the client well and safe was Shift's absolute number one goal. And he dedicated his entire life to that goal. And it went far beyond a job to Shift. This did not surprise me about Shift because it is precisely in line with everything I had observed in my past about him. Early on, when I met him as a roommate, I had another friend who was a single, low income new mother in East Oakland. My friend was a survivor of tremendous violence and in major crisis, feeling unable to care for herself or her baby. My friend was begging for help from the community and social services and was falling through the cracks. Shift, with his long history of child care experience, stepped in, and he and his then partner moved in with my friend to help care for her baby and her for a number of months with little to no remuneration. And he and his partner turned my friend's life around, getting her back on her feet, and grew to care for my friend and her baby with all of his heart. He at times considered taking the child into his own care, and I believe he would have done so if it had been necessary. He is that full of love and service. Sometime after that situation, Shift and his partner were roommates again with me, and he was again called to step in to help to help with a family crisis involving an infant. He and his partner moved in with a family friend of his whose family needed quality live-in childcare and support, again for very little remuneration. Manny and his Shift and his partner cared for the child, and supported the family through mental health crises and domestic violence. And again, Shift only ever spoke with care and concern for the child and dedicated his whole being to creating peace, stability, and well being in the family and the home at detriment to his own well being. Shift has also supported me twice through times of great need with the births of my two young children. Due to having no family support, I needed help with the birth and return home of my first child in 2017, and with very little remuneration or notice, he drove through lapping wildfire flames from the Bay Area to my town to come and provide his doula services to me and showed me how to care for my newborn. Again, in 2019, I lacked support for the birth of my child, and with very little remuneration, Manny Shift came to and helped care for my older child while my baby was born, at the same time as supporting me as a labor/birth and postpartum doula. He wore my then 1-year-old on his back throughout the birth of my baby, and during and afterward communicated complex it's not letting me. Okay. Communicated complex concepts about birth to my toddler, helping my child understand the birth process and how to adjust to life with a new sibling. He dropped everything he had going on that was bettering his own health and life situation just to come and help me again. And he didn't have to do that. He did it out of the depth of love and caring in his own heart. And last fall, winter, and spring, when I was struggling due to being a single parent during the pandemic without family support, he listened with care to my struggles and provided advice and insights that helped me navigate crisis. I relied on his support, and he was never judgmental, always compassionate, and always available and wise, and even when he himself was in much greater crisis. He's one of the most gentle, giving, caring, protective, justice minded individuals I've ever had the privilege of knowing, and I will never be able to repay him for what he has done for me and my loved ones. I cannot speak highly enough of his ability and willingness to set aside his own needs to care for others in crisis. This is just who he is, and anyone else fortunate enough to benefit from his loving care is supremely blessed. I will forever testify to his character and behavior in any way I can. Sincerely, me. Just
Thank
the
you.
highlights, like I said.
Just the highlights. Yeah. Yeah. I have to use my voice right now. Okay. Turn it back on. Oh my God. Uh yeah. It's so weird. I've spent a lot of time over the last couple of years not like repressing things, but just kind of like trying to keep the day in front of me.
You're just moving
Um
forward. You got to move forward. Yeah.
yeah, the last 2 days I've really been going over all of that period of time, but particularly the last little leg of it. Um uh yeah, I love my people, I love myself, I love my life, I love the choices I've made and what I've gotten to experience. Um, and you have an appointment in 3 minutes. You made time in the middle of your day to do this. This is
No
certainly one of the
problem.
weirder episodes, but I think it's complete. Um, I love you. I'm gonna come see you soon.
Okay. Love that. Love you too.
Been too long.
Yeah. Good luck with your all your stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah. People step off. Leave Shift alone. Shift's the bomb.
Mm,
The best person in the whole world. Biggest heart.
thank you.
Mm.
I love you.
Love you too.